What's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of the Young Guns podcast. We had Elias Lindholm, who got traded from the Calgary Flames to the Vancouver Canucks. That was a blockbuster in itself. And now the next domino falls. Sean Monahan of the Montreal Canadiens heads to the Winnipeg Jets for a 2024 first round pick and conditional 2027 third round pick. Lindholm was arguably the best center available in terms of trade bait heading into the 2024 trade deadline. Sean Monahan and Adam Henrique were closely tied for second, but Monahan is the next center to go. So that leaves Adam Henrique as the best center option available for teams to trade for. So let's take a look at this trade. In terms of Sean Monahan's third um, round pick that was received in this trade. Um, it's going to be a conditional third, meaning if Winnipeg wins the Stanley Cup, they get that third round pick in 2027. Taking a look at Sean Monahan's statistics according to Jay Fresh, he's a playmaking center who plays the bumper spot on the power play, useful near the net, although not much of a finisher in the past few seasons. Reputation as a shutdown presence might be overstated. And in terms of Sean Monahan's statistics, we can look here and realize that, he's been dealing with a lot of injuries in the last couple of seasons. He has yet to finish a season healthy and play a full 82 games since 2016 2017. Years after that, he did play 74 games, 78 games, and 70 games, which is, understandable because players get banged up throughout the season. So he played majority of the season, but after that it started going down to 50 to 65, 25, and 49. So he was drafted in the first round by the Calgary Flames in 2013. He's currently 29 years old. The Montreal Canadiens received Sean Monahan in a separate trade 2 summers ago, where they received a conditional first round pick from Calgary just to take on his contract, which at the time he was being paid 6.375 million in terms of the cap hit. That at that time, that was another good deal from the Montreal Canadiens. So essentially, if you really look at this deal, the Montreal Canadiens receive a conditional first from Calgary, a first round pick from Winnipeg in 2024, and a conditional third, which is a boatload for a player like Sean Monahan. He's been playing very well this season. 35 points in 49 games, 13 goals and 22 assists. Um, so in my opinion, to receive all that for a player that has had a bad past in terms of injuries is an absolute steal. I know in terms of face value at the moment, a lot of Montreal Canadian fans were hoping that they would be able to get one of Winnipeg's top prospects, for example, a guy like Brad Lambert. But let's be honest here, Sean Monahan is a rental, and they were gonna get a fair value for him. And there's also some fans from the Montreal Canadiens that are saying this is an absolute steal to get a first round pick because of his injury past. The Winnipeg Jet fans are either happy or sad at the moment because they're saying that it might be an overpay for a guy like Sean Monahan. You never know when he could get hurt, but he's been fairly healthy this year, playing 49 games. So, that's really good in terms of him as a player. And, looking back at his past and then his injuries, honestly, it looks like he's finally healthy for the first time in a very long time. In terms of his salary cap, well, he's being paid 1.985 million for the next couple of months, so the remainder of this season where he'll be a UFA. There's also a possibility that he even comes back to Montreal and he signs with them come July 1st, because he was a really good fit with the Montreal Canadiens. And if that happens, that is an even bigger steal for the Montreal Canadiens. So in terms of his position, he was playing on the second line with Slavkovsky and Armia. And he was doing fairly well on that line and building great chemistry with those two players. But this is a player on a contending team who would be playing third line minutes, so third line center, but on a bad to average team, he would be playing in the top six. Um, and in this case, he was playing in the top six. But in terms of the Winnipeg Jets, you could see that their center depth is not that great. So he could potentially be playing first line minutes or even second line minutes just by looking at the roster that we have here. The Mestikov and Kupari are not ideal first line and second line centers. They did trade Pierre-Luc Dubois during the offseason, so that hurt their center depth. They also lost Blake Wheeler, who was able to play center and wing, so that also hurt their center depth. So, just taking a look at this team in terms of their injuries, Mark Scheifele's also out too, and he's a key centerman as well. So, with him being out, not having the best center depth, still being a very competitive team, a team that is very likely to make the playoffs, they had to add a center very soon because, you don't want to start dropping meaningful games heading into the playoffs and trying to clinch the best position possible to gain home ice advantage. So guys, we'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below on this trade. Who won this deal, the Montreal Canadiens or the Winnipeg Jets? Honestly, I think both teams get what they need here. Montreal Canadiens being a rebuilding team, stocking up on more picks to draft prospects and build a contending team for years to come. Hopefully, they make the right picks, of course. And in terms of the Winnipeg Jets, having a very good season this year. And trying to make their team stronger and adding a guy like Sean Monahan, a solid veteran who yes has dealt with injuries but has been a very good player for the Montreal Canadiens since joining. So guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Young Guns podcast. Thank you so much, guys, once again for listening and watching.